All right, welcome back to Bring the Thunder podcast. We're going to be talking about the NBA 2K ratings for just the Oklahoma City Thunder players. And we have kind of what their end of season ratings were and what we predict they will be in 2K26. I think we have to start off and kick it off with Shai. He started the year at a 96 overall. He moved all the way up to a 98 overall. I'll let Jack kind of mention what he thinks his rating will be to start out 2K26.
I will start with a bit of caution that I don't play 2K at all, so you may not agree with all of my takes, but that's all right. For Shai, I have him at 98. I think 98 is a good ranking, and I don't really see it going to a 99. I think that's quite insane, and I believe Jokic hasn't been a 99 either. But if he has, then maybe. But I think 98 is pretty good, and then he can maybe 99 at the end of next season, but we'll see.
Yeah. So I don't think 2K has done 99 players other than maybe Shaq, if I remember, to start off. But I think there's only been one ever player that's been a 99 overall. But I do think Shai gets the 99 overall because I saw this interview with him and Ronnie when they were talking about him being the cover star or whatever. And Shai pretty much told him, like, I want that 99 overall to start off the year. They were just talking about it. He was like, oh, you ended the year at a 98. He was like, yeah, I need to get one more. So I'm hoping, how close him and Ronnie are, the amount of promo that he does with 2K in general. I think he's one of the guys that could possibly get it. I think, 98 is more realistic, but I think from like a video game aspect, like, whether it's 98 or 99, I don't think they'd care that much. So he could be the second player ever to get that. And I think that would just add to his long list of accomplishments because I don't think a player has done what he's done since I think even Shaq and MJ and all those guys. So I wouldn't be opposed, obviously, as a fan of him and fan of the team, but just 2K as a franchise, I think the work that they've done together could get him that extra +1. Let's move over to J-Dub. I believe he started the year at a 80 or 86, and he ended up at an 89 to end the year. Where do you think his rating ends up?
I mean, he's got to be 90 plus, and if he isn't, then that just shows this game is a waste of time. But I have him at a 92. Some other notable players currently at 92 overalls: Cade, Kyrie, Ja Morant, which I think, I mean, you're talking about a player who just won a championship, all NBA, all star, all defense. So I think he can definitely push 92, maybe even 93, but hopefully he gets the flowers, but we'll see.
Yeah. I wonder if there's usually championship tax associated to ratings. So I'm going to try to count that in. I'm going to stick with, I feel like he's going to probably get like a 90, 91. If I had to predict, probably a 91 rating. He ended the year at an 89, so I do think he'll be at least in the 90s. I'm going to stick with my 91 prediction. It's just my gut feeling. I think they'll rate like him playing through an injury, him having a championship amongst all the other accolades that you mentioned. I think that's fair for him. The one that's, I think, going to be the most weird and controversial is going to be Chet Holmgren, because the year previous he had an injury, but they rated him at an 88 to start. This year they started him at an 87 and he ended at an 87, which is kind of weird because I feel like he had a really good season overall, but obviously the injury kind of factors into this. So on a fully healthy season, they had him at an 88 overall rating. Do we think because he's a champion that he gets any more? Or what do you think?
I mean, I have it written down that I think he'll stay as an 87, but I can see him starting as an 88. But I think it's more for him to earn than for it to be given. I mean, he only played 36 games last year, so I see it skyrocketing throughout the year. Maybe like I see those Instagram posts where it says the plus and how many overalls they've gone up. So I think maybe a couple weeks of the season it'll be like +3, +4, hopefully, but we'll see. But I reckon he'll still be an 87 or an 88.
Yeah, I don't see it changing too much. I think 87 will probably be fair for him. Man, I always have to think about, because they won a championship, they're going to bump the ratings up. I feel like 87 feels low for Chet. I think 88 was more fair the previous season that they had. So I'm going to switch it up, go with an 88 for Chet Holmgren. I think the next highest rated player, I don't know if you agree with these ratings with how it is, but the next highest rated player on the team is Isaiah Hartenstein at an 84 to end the season. He started the season actually fifth highest at an 81. So he had a huge bump up from the start to the end from an 81 all the way to an 84. Where do you think his rating is? He's more of a sixth man. I don't really consider him still as a full-time starting big man.
Yeah.
So where
I
do you
just
think
feel like it feels a bit inconsistent that he's that high rated as a role player, and then some of the other role players are done quite dirty, I'd say. I think 84, as much as I love Hartenstein, is just, I mean, if that's his grade, then I think it stays there. I don't think it goes up. I don't want it to go down, but I think I'll base the next couple on Hartenstein's 84. So we'll see. I don't really know 2K ratings, but I feel like there's more of a 3-point difference between Shet and iHeart, or three rating difference, but who knows? I guess not.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about ratings on 2K, and I'll mention this for people that don't know 2K ratings. They usually favor big men, people with height, people with defense and rebounding. So your stats actually get a little bit of a increase when you're a bigger player versus if you're a guard. You need more high level scoring to get your rating up. So that's kind of how it works. But considering he started at an 81, I think he ends up probably being like an 83. I think a +2 after a championship. He's a role player. He peaked at an 84. I feel like +2 is fair from where he started out. So I'll stick with a 83 rating. The next person, this is where it kind of gets weird here. We got Lou Dort next at an 82 where he ended the season, but Lou Dort started sixth lowest at an 80 to start the season. So he got a +2 only throughout the whole year after kind of an all defensive campaign, which is weird. Like I feel like he's not really much of a, you can label Lou Dort, I guess, as a role player, but I think he's more of a higher end role player where I think his defense should translate in the game a lot more. But I do understand like how the ratings work, and rebounding and other things are in it. So do you feel like where do you think Lou Dort will be?
I think it's got to be higher than Hartenstein. I know, like you were saying, they favor bigs, but Lou Dort is the best defender in the league and a starter, and Hartenstein's maybe a starter, maybe sixth man. So I have him as an 85, maybe an 84. I think he's definitely up there with. I think he's definitely closer to Shet than Hartenstein is in skill level. But I did want to mention one thing. He, as of the end of 2K25, he has the highest dunk rating on the team at an 85, which I found quite interesting. But
Yeah, I see that on the side as well. Like J-Dub's second highest, and then him. We'll talk about the dunk rating here in a couple slots, but
yeah,
I think considering he started at an 80, I just don't think they respect Lou Dort the way we respect Lou Dort. So I think he starts the season at an 81 on 2K, just with how they work, and I guess just if I had to predict, like guards usually just don't get the same type of love. Role players in general don't get what they forecast a guy as a role player. They usually don't get the same type of love. And considering he only got all the way up to an 82 after the season he had, I mean, I don't know what more this man can actually do other than run through a couple more brick walls. But speaking of running through brick walls, we got to talk about Alex Caruso, who ended at an 80 overall, and he started at an 82. So they actually decreased him by 2 ratings after a pretty solid season. Do you know why that may be that his rating actually got lowered?
Would it be just, I guess he missed a couple games, but also coming from the Bulls to the Thunder, like being a starter to a bench
Mhm,
player, I guess. That's the only thing that really makes sense. But
mhm.
for me, I have him at an 82, so I bumped that right back up. He's elite, like we know that. But it just depends if 2K can show him the respect that we give him and we know he deserves. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay. So I think you were right about your prediction of when a guy moves from starting role to kind of a bench role, 2K always highly factors that. So I think actually his rating decreases to start the season. And also a really big factor in 2K is age. Um, in most video games like that are sports video games, they factor in age pretty heavily on players. Um, so just naturally, they usually tend to start declining as their age, you know, increases. So
mm,
Alex Caruso at a 79 for me. I think that's where
damn,
he'll. Yeah, he's. I don't think he's going to be in the 80s because the other guys we named are definitely going to be in the 80s, but I just don't think they. I just don't think they value, what he brings. Like I don't think deflections and other things are accounted for when it
yeah,
comes, you know, the stats and stuff. So at least for 2K rating purposes. So I think he'll actually be
hmm
a lot lower than what we probably think. The next person we'll move over to that. There's a joint list of 4 guys. I'll just rattle the names off real quick that are 79 overall to end the season. Isaiah Joe was 79. Aaron Wiggins was 79. J. Will was 79. And Caston Wallace was a 79 overall, which is baffling to me. Wiggins and Joe started at 78. Kaysen started at a 76. And I think who am I missing here? J
Jay
Will.
will.
J Will started it doesn't have his starting rating
Damn.
online, but I don't think he must have been below a 67 rating. So he got probably the largest uh, bump up increase in
So,
rating out of all the guys. So that's crazy that he went
well,
from, sub 67 to
yeah.
79. So what do you think about these 4 players kind of being jumbled up in one place?
Um, it's very interesting. I'll start with Isaiah Joe. I could see him dropping maybe 1 point to a 78. I think he just found his way out of the rotation by the end of the like late playoffs. So I could see that, or maybe he just stays the same because 2K don't really like notice it. Aaron Wiggins will like if he doesn't break 80, then I'm probably not going to buy the game because that's stupid. And then, I mean, he definitely deserves at least an 80, 81. So I'm predicting 81. Jay Will, I think 79 is a good rating for him. I think as far as the attributes come in to to change his rating, I think on paper his attributes aren't insane because he's a 6'9" center. His rebounding is all right, but not elite. His 3-point shooting is probably his best attribute, but I feel like he's better in real life than like a bit like Caruso. He's not really modeled for the game. Um, so I think 79 will be about right. And then Casey Wallace should be an 81, 82. I mean, he's a starter, fringe sixth man. So hopefully that goes into like they account for that. But I assume he'll have a leap as he's so young. But I don't really know what to expect with any of them. But I really hope Wiggins and Wallace go up.
Yeah. Considering Wiggins and Joe kind of got their new contracts, I think 2K rated them pretty heavily. Kayson's younger, so that's another age is always a factor in this. So I think his rating was pretty fair. I think Joe does probably drop from a 78 considering the season he had, maybe down to even a 75. I can see Wiggins maybe staying at a 79, to be honest. 2K really doesn't, I guess, know about the role players as much as we do. So I don't think he's going to break into the 80s. That's kind of where I have him. And then J Will is kind of interesting. Like, I don't honestly know what to do with that because he made such a leap that it's like, I don't know what to say. I don't know exactly where they'll have him. I guess maybe a 75 if I had to guess. Kind of meeting in the middle of what his rating was to kind of how high I got because I don't think they'll drop him too low, but he'll be definitely still part of the rotation that they consider. And then the last couple guys that ended the year was Kenrich had 78, AJ had a 76, Dieng had a 74, Topic had a 72, Carlson had a 71 rating, and then Sorber and Barnheiser, we'll see, what their ratings are. But that's kind of where they ended the season. To start the season, Topic had a 72, so not much change there. AJ Mitchell had a 68. Dieng started at a 73. Kenrich started at a 73 as well. So his rating went
Wow.
up. AJ's rating went up tremendously throughout the season. So he had a really good season. But I think
I'm
the two guys
surprised about Kenrich.
yeah. Kenrich's rating, they rated him heavily.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I was going to mention the two players that are being added. I think we should try to possibly guess what their rating is coming in as rookies.
I think I'll start with Brooks Barnheiser, and I think it'll be a 69 or 68.
Mm-hmm.
Being a second round pick, not going to get a lot of minutes, and yeah, I think so. What do you
I
think?
think that's fair. Dylan Jones started at a 69. AJ started at a 68. I feel like for Barnheiser, that's kind of what his range will be. Topic started
Mhm.
at a 72. Dang is at a 73. So where do we think Sorber is? Do you think they're going to be high on Sorber? Or do you think they're going to put him below 70?
I could just see them splitting it at 72, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Same rating as Topic. Where he's going to end up will be no clue, but I think 72 is, I mean, lottery, well, just outside the lottery pick, but first round pick. Yeah, it's got to be 72, right?
Yeah. I think it should be, considering Topic really didn't even play, and he was a 72. And I do see his rating going up as the years go on, but that's kind of what
For
the
sure.
ratings predictions are for us. There's not much, Thunder news going on right now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick recap video. We'll have the official ratings here soon. We'll actually, compare them to what we said in this one to what they actually are here in about a week or two. So you guys be on the lookout for that. So thank you guys. Peace out.